So you've talked about all the problems that Tunisia is facing, and the problems that the government is actually trying to solve. Do you think that any government can solve all the problems of Tunisia, or do you think it's going to take something more than the government can do?
I don't think any government in the world can solve all the problems, because even here in the States, people suffer still from unemployment, from immigration issues, from gender equality, from sexual orientation. No government in the world will be perfect. But I think in Tunisia would be the work of government and civil society. It is on both sides. It is an understanding of the government of its responsibility of making the country prosperous, secure, having the basic condition for its people. And it is an understanding from the people that they have duties to. And this is the problem in both sides. So neither the government understanding their responsibility, neither the people understanding their duties. Because most of the people think that it is the job of the state to create jobs. But it's not the job of the state to create jobs, it's to create conditions, investment, to have jobs. It's not the state would create the job. A lot of people would go out to the street and say, we want jobs, we are jobless. It's not the state's, they expect more than the state would give to people, and the government is sometimes doing less than it should be done. So I think on both sides. And in Tunisia, hopefully, the civil society is getting more and more powerful, and we had a lot of new thousands of organizations after the revolution that are working on those issues, like being in charge of children issues, being in charge of, and it's both work of civil society and state.
You mentioned earlier how crucial a role social media played in the revolution, places like Facebook, Twitter, and other sites like that. I don't know if you said you've been in the country 3 months, so I don't know if you've been here 3 months. So I don't know if you heard of PIPA or SOPA, but they were legislation that were played around with on the national level last year, right after Occupy Wall Street and the Arab Spring happened, where they were talking about the censorship of the internet, and that would allow the government the ability to censor Facebook, Twitter, and other sites like that. Does the idea of that kind of legislation worry you, especially within the U.S.? Like, if it happens here, what does that mean?
If it happens here, oh my gosh, censorship. Censorship. It's really it makes you really like inhuman, because you don't have a voice. You cannot speak your mind. You cannot say what you want. And especially now with the technology and with today's evolving world on really debates, virtual debates and online debates, and even immediate coverage. And like on Twitter, it's like on-time coverage of what's going on in each country. By censorship, if it happens in the US, it's going to be the end of freedom of speech. I mean, it's all linked, because whether you say it offline or online, it's your freedom of speech. So I don't know who introduced this.
The bill never actually came up for a vote, but the SOPA and PIPA were introduced in Congress around this time last year. SOPA stood for Stop Online Piracy Act, and PIPA stood for Protect IP Address Act. Mm-hmm. And it was the bills were put out under the idea of, we want to stop people from illegally downloading music, and we want to keep people from looking at child pornography online. But written into the bill were clauses that would give the government the power to shut down certain websites and to shut down certain other media sites in the event that they were deemed a threat.
Yeah, maybe this goes back to that movie, like downloading movie and causing like trouble or unrest.
Yeah.
But I think instead, not censorship, but there should be a law of protecting other people's, or respect for other people's, if we talk about religion, religious orientation or religion in general, but not going and censoring the thing. It should be already in the law that you don't dare to do that already, so that you do it and then we censor it. I would rather prefer a law to be introduced to a privacy of the people rather than censoring like other people's stuff. Everyone has the right to a privacy, and this is, I think, the problem with social media. There is no privacy security, because on Facebook or Twitter, your history is there and anybody can check that history. But I'm totally in favor of. I know I appreciate freedom of speech, but there is not limits. There is your freedom. I mean, your freedom stop when mine begin. It means you have to respect my freedom too. And this is where the United States, they don't have a line. They have just freedom of speech, and they don't have a line of where people should stop, because now we're suffering from, in the American society, the hate speech, and as this movie calls, like national trouble and international unrest. So to prevent all this stuff, a law should be introduced to, yes, you have the freedom of speech, but once you cause trouble, this is what gonna be happening or punished for. So you prevent things from happening, rather than you let things happen and then you say, yeah, I will censor this now. It's not gonna work like this.
All right, well, I think that's all we have time for, so Aya, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
By the way, I think this is the last, this should be airing the Friday after the elections. So this is me on my soapbox real quick. I don't know who won. It's right now it's Friday, November 2nd. So the elections are next Tuesday. I don't know who won by the time you've heard this. I don't know what your opinion of the winner and the losers are, but one way or another, we're still all in this together, and keep that in mind, everybody.
The voices that won't be televised will be heard on the radio.
So now it's your time to speak up.